In the last 6 months alone, I've helped 3 college students go from $0 per month to $10K per month in remote sales. One of them was in his junior career, struggling to pay his fraternity dues, was bar backing, was bartending, and doing everything he could to make money, and he made just below $10,000 last month. Another one of them was in a similar situation. Really knew that he didn't want to go the 9-to-5 path, really knew that he was built for more, but just didn't really know where to start, was also in a fraternity and realized, hey, I really need to find something different, and he made over $10,000 last month. And the third one went to a school in Virginia, again was lost, really knew that he had the entrepreneur mindset. He even dropped out and didn't even want to tell his dad until he started making money, and he made over $15,000 last month. And today, I'm gonna show you exactly how they did it, including the actual messages they sent to get these 10K a month roles, what made them stand out on their interviews to even get the job in the first place, and the exact process they followed to collect these commission checks within 30 days. So this is the exact process that they followed. And I'll walk you through one by one of how each college student found their first opportunity. So first, I'll start with Jacob, who was the first one I mentioned. Bar backing, bartending, looking for something different, didn't want to work the 9-to-5 route. And he saw what I did because me and him were college roommates, and he did exactly what I told him to. So how he actually got his first opportunity was through our community. But it's not like it was just handed to him, he actually still had to apply and do an interview. So one of my good friends hit me up and he said, hey, I need an appointment setter, which I do for a lot of my students. And I threw it inside the community and I said, hey guys, please apply to this, great opportunity, and best of luck to all of you. What Jacob did is he sent over a video introduction, which is pretty much like a Loom style of video, and it pretty much just tells them where they're from, what their name is, what experience they have, what sets them apart, and how confident they are to succeed on the team. He sent that over to the business owner. The business owner liked his energy, he liked the way he interviewed, and he ended up getting the job. Same thing with John. Actually, John was on my team his first ever time around, and he did the exact same thing to me. He showed up to the coaching calls, he listened, he trained, so I knew when I needed a new appointment setter on the interviews, I was like, hey, I know this guy's gonna crush it. He's a similar background to me, he's doing this in school, and he has a similar mindset as me too. He wants to go down the entrepreneur path and not really down the regular 9-to-5 path. He was living in his college fraternity house. It all just made sense. So I actually gave him that first opportunity. And also the third one, Sandro. Maybe you guys have seen Sandro on my channel, but again, it was roughly the same thing. A company was interviewing for their team. I threw it out into the community. He went ahead and applied for it, went ahead and sent his video introduction. They really, really liked his energy, and he became an appointment setter on that team. So all of them had a really similar background. 2 of them were in a fraternity. All 3 of them knew they didn't want to go the 9-to-5 route, and they sent very similar messages to get these opportunities. And their first roadmap and their first goal when getting onto these opportunities, and this is the exact reason why remote sales is so perfect for college students, is because they had a lot of time. They didn't need to start making 20 grand a month as soon as possible. First, they focused on building a skill set, and they worried about money later. But all of them have worked for me, so I know exactly what they were doing. They came to all my coaching calls, they came to every sales team meeting on time, they implemented, they listened, every time they needed to change something they did, and the first 30 days, it was all about skill set, not even too worried about money. And again, there's no luck involved. Literally look at their Instagram profiles. I'll put them up all on the screen. They look exactly like your social media profiles. There is nothing special about them. Now I've showed you their social media. Let me show you the exact message that they sent to actually get these opportunities. Again, going back to it, it was something along the lines of, hey, my name is Jacob, I live in Tampa, I'm a college student and I have a lot of time on my hands and I'd love to be your appointment setter. And I think what really, really sets me apart is the fact that I have determination. I was the captain on my lacrosse team, so I know how to lead from the front. And also too, I'll do everything that most people won't. In terms of, I know a lot of appointment setters are really, really bad at the day-to-day tasks, like filling out their CRM and their end-of-day report. They're slow to respond to leads. I have all the time in the world. I take all my classes online, so I don't even have to worry about throughout the day. And dude, it's not like in a position where I need to make 10K a month next month. I'm really here to build a skill set first. So I know with my determination and your guys' traffic, I know we can crush together. So if you like what you heard and you want to give me a shot, I would love to talk again and see if this would be a good fit. Something along the lines of that. Again, if you send that to hundreds and hundreds of people, there is no way you don't find an opportunity. And then you might even ask yourself, how many messages did they have to send? So for example, with Jacob, again, I already knew Jacob, so he didn't have to send as much as Sandro and as much as John. John and Sandro probably ended up sending hundreds and hundreds of messages. But again, that one to me or the business owner that they worked for was worth it, and they didn't have to deal with getting another opportunity after that. And in terms of actually how to pass the interview, I've already made a whole video dedicated to that, so that'll be in the description below and you can watch that as well. And now that you've seen what other college students have done, now you're thinking about, okay, can I actually do this? And again, the whole reason why I started this channel is I want to set expectations clearly. I don't want you to think that John, Sandro, or Jacob didn't do anything crazy, like, because they worked their ass off. They worked up, they showed up every single day, they did everything they could have, and I can't take that away from them. But I know if you do that as well, you can get similar results, but I'll tell you exactly what you should expect in your first 30, 60, 90 days. So the first 30 days, this is where you're getting used to everything. Especially if you're a beginner, this is where you're getting access to old call recordings so you can study, access to the CRM and the dialers so you can start calling people. This is where you need to be taking advantage of coaching or even your sales manager, so getting a bunch of calls reviewed. Honestly, just focusing on the skill set. Again, as a college student, most college students aren't even making money, so that's why I said it's so perfect to start when you're a college student, because you don't have the expectation to make money. This is all just stuff that the world deems as extra, but again, it can make you a shit ton of money if you stick with it. So the first 30 days, you should be only focused on skill set. Then days 30 through 60, that's where you're actually focused on like, okay, now I'm starting to get the hang of it. How can I actually make money with this thing? And of course, if you build your skill set, that's where the money comes. So again, you're doing the exact same things in day 30 that you are in day 60, because you can't just stop doing the things that got you to the point where you are today. So you're still showing up to every sales team meeting, you're still performing, you're still doing your dials, you're still responding to leads as a DM setter, and overall you're just getting better because you've been doing stuff for a longer period of time. And depending how fast and how good you get, maybe even in day 90 you become a closer. I've had people start as an appointment setter, do it for 3 months, and then in their 4th month they're a closer. Some people do it in 2 months, some people do it in 3 months. Like for example, with Jacob, I think he did it in about 4 months. John, he did it about in 4 to 6 months. Sandro, it was about 4 months. So I'd say about 4 months from appointment setter to closer is actually a good starting point. And I'll even give you specific examples of their schedules and even my schedules as a college student when I was doing this as well. So for example, Jacob, again, he was my college roommate. He's the one I call one of my best friends today. And what his schedule looks like is a little bit different than it looked like last year. He actually did start last year, but he didn't make the excuse of, I have in-person classes, I can't do all this. He did it anyway. So he told the offer owner, hey, I have classes from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, or whatever his schedule was, and I will be dialing, I will appointment set during the rest of the time. They were fine with that, because that still means he's working for 7, 8 hours throughout the whole day. Myself, I took all my classes online, so I didn't even have to worry about it. Now, even Jacob takes all of his classes online. I think John does the same thing. And obviously, Sandro actually dropped out, so he doesn't even have to deal with that anymore. No, I'm not telling you to drop out, but it could be a good idea for you. And again, I know I'm gonna get so many questions, because I've gotten so many in the past of like, dude, what if I have in-person classes? What if I have this going on? What if I'm in a fraternity? What if I'm playing sports? I get it, dude. Anything that is important to you, you will find time for it. I always like to give this analogy or like this kind of saying. What is time and what is money? They're both resources. Just like water, just like toilet paper. It's like, let's say you go to the bathroom and you need toilet paper. What are you gonna do? You're just gonna say, oh, I don't have toilet paper. No, you're gonna go find it, right? Let's say you don't have water and you're really freaking thirsty. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go find the water, right? So now that we know that time and money are also resources, okay, so what do you do when you don't have the time? You figure out how to find the time. I figured out how to find the time. I just took my classes online. Making money with remote sales was my priority instead of school, so that's exactly what I did. So if it's a priority for you, you will figure out how to do it. And then another misconception could be like, well, how do I know that they're actually gonna hire college students? Well, I got hired. I made multiple 6 figures in my first year doing this. Jacob got hired. Sandra got hired. John got hired. Do you feel like there's any reason why you wouldn't get hired? But not only that, I'll tell you exactly why people are hiring college students. And again, it goes to the point that they don't have insane overhead costs. Like if I hire a 35-year-old dude that has a wife, kids, and family, I can expect him to leave in a month if he's not making money because he has a whole family to take care of. But as a 19-year-old kid that doesn't have any expenses, and honestly, he isn't supposed to be making money, he can stick 1, 2, 3 months without making money, focus on his skill set. And a lot of offer owners and sales managers know this, so they keep college students because they know this guy right now doesn't need to be making 20 grand a month, so I can keep him for a long time, I can develop him, he can eventually get to a point where he's making 10, 15, 20 grand in a month. And again, just going back to what's possible, like I really want to talk about these guys' stories. Like for example, Jacob, this is gonna be funny, Jacob, if you're watching this, but I remember meeting Jacob in freshman year of college, and he kept telling me, dude, I want to be an entrepreneur. Do I want to be an entrepreneur? At the time, I was kind of an entrepreneur. I had a business, but I wasn't really making great money with it. But in my sophomore years, when I really started taking this stuff seriously, and Jacob saw all that because we were literally living together. And he even tried that 1 year, but he gave up because he didn't really have a big why behind it. Again, he didn't have much pressure on him because we were only sophomores, right? Hey, you got 2 more years to figure this thing out. I don't really have to do it. So he actually gave up during that time. But then a year and a half later, he hits me up. He's like, bro, if I don't figure out something now, I'm actually gonna have to go work a 9 to 5. And the thing I've been scared of the past 4 years is actually coming close. I need to figure this out. And that's when we actually locked in. I made him put some skin in the game and actually invest in the Closer Cartel. And he actually took it seriously, and now he's doing around 10K a month consistently. John, I want to actually tell you guys a funny story about John as well. So John actually hopped on one of my sales calls when I was taking calls for Closer Cartel, and the kid had heard about my stories, and he knew that me and him were very similar. But he was coming on, and he was just saying some out-of-pocket stuff. Like, he was talking about this tradition that his fraternity has called Marination Monday. He was talking about all this degenerate stuff, and I had to give him a little slap in the face. I was like, look, John, like, I need you to take this thing seriously. I need you to show up. And more importantly, I need you to stop listening to the people around you because they're going to hold you back. Can you meet me in the middle and make sure this thing happens? Because I want you to be successful with this damn thing. And he listened to me. And the first few months, I didn't hear much from him. I think he was just not taking it super, super seriously. There was a few week span where I saw him on every single coaching call. I was like, okay, now he's taking this seriously. So when I needed an appointment setter on my personal team, I reached out to John. He was my top appointment setter for 4 or 5 months. And now he's doing super well closing. And let me even talk to you about Sandro. He didn't even know what this whole remote closing thing was until his friend Gavin, which is obviously one of our coaches inside of Closer Cartel, met him in college and told him about it. He had no clue, but he wanted it so bad. He didn't care what he had to do. He just wanted to make money. So he wasn't passionate about remote sales. He just goes, hey, I know this kid Gavin's doing it. There's no reason why I can't do it. So he did it anyway. And again, he was on one of my teams as well. And he dropped out when he was making like $4 grand a month. I don't recommend that, but he did it anyway. And he literally goes, I don't want to tell my dad I dropped out until I'm making more. So that's when he started making like 7, 8 grand a month. I think that's when he told his dad he dropped out. His dad was not happy. But then I met his dad for the first time when he moved to my apartment building in Miami. And he had nothing to say about it because he was happy his son was producing. So there you have it. The exact process that helped Jacob, Sandro, and John go from struggling college students to making more than professors in literally just a year. And again, as I always do, I want to be real with you. These results aren't luck or some magic formula either. Each of these guys succeeded because they had these two things, a process to follow that actually worked, and hard work and determination. And personally, myself, I learned this the hard way. It took me about a year to figure all this out on my own. And again, that's a year of sending terrible outreach messages, getting rejected every single day, getting on crappy opportunities that just wasted my time, and overall just wasting tens of thousands of dollars in opportunity cost. And again, that's why Jacob, John, and Sandro were able to do this in literally 4 months because they didn't have to go through the painful learning curve that I had to go through. Look, you can absolutely try and do all this stuff that I just showed you on your own, and I totally respect that. But if you want to skip years and years of trial and error, get direct access to the best jobs in the whole space, and follow the exact process that got these guys to 10K a month, just go ahead and do yourself a favor and click the link below to apply for our mentorship. Please just be ready to put the work in though, because dude, I do not want to deal with people that aren't ready to work. But anyway, as usual, I really appreciate you watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.